Hello there, welcome to the next episode of Strife and Grimbone. This is the walkthrough creating a Foundry VTT module for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So last time we focused on creating the Harpy layer encounter and the Forest Drake encounter. We should label them before going any further. Going into, make sure we're in journal notes. Let's copy this one. Second time successful. Double right click and change that. So this one should be Harpy layer. Sometimes I had trouble updating the label there, so we'll give it a bit of help. First of all, change the icon to an H. Still saying Grimbone. Double right click and just change that there. And then change it to an I. Okay, and then we double click them now, we get to the right entry, and remember as the players are exploring we can go to tiles and then select the tile, right click the tile and then make it visible. Again, right click the tile and make it visible. So as the players explore, you can build up their map. Also, when the players might have discovered the map and that was labelled in the hags layer, you might laterally make them visible there. Go back to invisible now. So that's that bit. We'll have a journal section on returning to collect some experience points, story XP awards for these two encounters. So we'll go to the Grimbone town description, and now we want the Grimbone encounters, and we wanted the Grimbone Inn, Pickwick's problem, Pickwick's son, and we've done that already luckily. If PCs return with news of Pickwick's son, report the party 80 XPs, but I think we'll have a similar award for slaying the dragon, or rather drake. Copy that. The town keep. Start editing it. In fact, thinking about it, it's probably going to be easier for the GM to remember it if it's actually part of that encounter. So I'm going to change it to part of this encounter. Bring that one up. And we'll paste it there. If the PTs return with news, they have slain, return to Grimbone. With news that they have slain the green dragon. The town will briefly celebrate before returning to their nightmare of supernatural, to their daily nightmare of supernatural terror. They might sight later and back the dragon's head as a to remember the PCs by, well, let's write it in proper English, as a trophy by which to remember the PCs. Award the party 80 XPs. Yeah. We do want to make sure that the party are approaching 3rd level, definitely going to be 3rd level by the time they get into the main dungeon of chapter 4. So that's that housekeeping done, and now we go to chapter 4. So we'll go to our journal and make another big chapter. Create a folder. Cultist scripts. And our first entry will be the demi-vampire attack. Demi-vampire just means weak vampires, a better name than vampire spawn, in my opinion. Do a bit of formatting in my Word document. I'm going to change this to a subtitle. So, trigger this night event when it is time to move on from exploring Grimbone and its environs. The PCs should be reached or approaching 3rd level by this point in the adventure, so they are ready to face the tougher challenges ahead. The PCs may decide to tempt fate by wandering the town at night, prompted by comments from locals that they will soon find out more than they ever wanted to know about what has befallen the town as they venture out after dark. Alternatively, if resting in the inn or elsewhere, that would be their guest accommodation in the town hall, they may hear a short and curtailed female scream coming from the alley just outside their window. Finally, they may be returning from investigating some other nightly encounter, or may have mistimed their return to town after a jaunt in the Ashwood. And so we'll trigger a macro, I think. Click the macro, and then we'll create the macro. Let's get into the right scene so we can get ourselves in the mood. Grimbone town. We should put that at the front, shouldn't we? And have these in a bit more of a sensible order. Town Hall was the second one. Then we would have had the Hunter's Home. Then the Sage's Tower. Sage's Tower upper floor. Then it would have been the South Gate. Then the Carter's Home. Oh no, Southgate Wealthy Home. Carter's Home, local shop, and then the two other way around. So yeah, better to be in the order they're most likely to be encountered. But here we are on the town map, and we will create another macro. This macro is just going to be playing a sound. So, as usual, we copy rather than create a new. Any of the old trapdoors I think will do. So we'll just duplicate that. And we'll call it Scream in the Night. We don't need to set a constant. We just need audio helper play, and I think I called it female scream. Maybe not quite so loud. And then we'll maybe put a note in the chat. So we're setting a string, the results. And then we have to play that. Chat message. Oh, I didn't save it. Yeah, we know we need to set the variable let results results HTML equal you hear a scream in the night and comment that. I think that should be okay. Oh, I'll just check where I made the mistake. I think it's a bracket here. I think maybe even another bracket. Seems happy with that, doesn't it? Scream in the night. Right, let's play it. You hear a scream in the night. Yep, that works. And we'll drag it to there. And you do our usual formatting. And now when we're in our journal, we just do that one. And it works there. Okay. A blood-curdling scream of terror rips through the still night as if a woman had been attacked. Just as suddenly the scream is cut short, but its horrified note still echoes in your ears. When the PCs investigate on a DC-10 perception check, they see an energetic-looking figure dressed in ragged clothes sprinting away, carrying a human-shaped bundle easily on one shoulder. The figure springs round a corner out of view. As if to confirm their suspicions, they hear a second short scream, muffled this time. The PCs may give chase, in which case, when they reach the corner, they generally spy the figure just disappearing round the next one, or hear another scream from a certain direction. Alternatively, on a DC-10 survival check, they see some spots of blood and a bare footprint in a small puddle of the same. The trail of bloody footprints can be followed. Either way, the trail leads to a nondescript dwelling on the northern edge of town. There are bloodstains upon the door handle. The door is closed but not locked. And the dwelling is this one here. Kind of half of that building. And I'll start off with a description. So it's going to be G is Grimbone, and 16 because we'd labelled up to 15 the local shop. the PCs will here after the abductor through the town to an home at its northern edge. Just a bit more introduction. Inside, the home looks abandoned and empty. The only other exit is a trapdoor in the wooden floor leading to a root cellar, lit by a dim light filtering down from the open trapdoor and casting long shadows over the eastern walls and floor. There is a rough tunnel leading northward out of the root cellar. Lurking at the entrance is a shadow raised by the master as a more reliable guardian than ghouls. At the PCs roll perception for initiative against the shadow's stealth DC of 24. If any succeed, they see an unnatural movement of shadows that are forming into claw-like appendages as a two-dimensional rippling figure takes shape before them about to strike. The shadow fights until destroyed. It will not head up through the trapdoor into the light above. Shadow Guardian. Do I have that already? Maybe it's the name of a creature. Anyway, but this isn't Shadow Guardian. And I think we need to do a scene. We need to create a new chapter. Chapter 4, Cultist Crypts. So we created the chapter for journals, we need to create the chapter to organise our scenes. And our first scene of the day. So if the PCs are going into some other house and for some reason you need a map for it, you could also use it for that one. I think it's 300. Yep. So yep, there's the road there, and there's the palisade wall of the northern edge of town, and we'll add our foreground walls as usual. Set them as usual to be 85% opaque but never fade. Check our character likes it. Yep. Obscured by the chimney stack. So also there. So now we'll set our walls. Because we can see both inside and outside, I think I'll be inclined to set the wall in the middle. So we don't want the grid snap on. We want it there. Oops. Stop there at the window. Stop at the door. Oh, stop at the window. Stop at the window. Quickly press Control, and we're right on the edge of this semi-detached house. A bit of a fixer-upper. Yeah. So windows. And a door. A wood creaky door. And we'll have some lighting now. So here, we synchronize it with world time, but we want the inside to be darker than the outside, so we'll create a dark region. Start off with a rectangle. So region, darkness. Behaviors. Just darkness level. And then we'll just have a darken. Make it darken, it's like 50%. So it'll be still maybe a bit lighter in the daytime because the light filtering in through the window, but darker than outside. So hopefully that should be okay. Yep, it looks darker. See, yeah, the token looks darker inside there than outside there. I don't think we'll have any lights. PCs can take their own lights if they wish. I don't think I'll adjust proximity for the windows or have any light shining in through the windows, because then you'll see the light brightly outside. I think that's fine. And so that's the abandoned home, but we need an abandoned home basement as well. Anything else we need to do? Oh, some sounds. So some maybe town sounds outside. found wind, or maybe village. Nothing happened there. Let's try again. Right, we will have it constrained by walls, but not volume easing. Select the file again. Okay, have it like that. So there's sound there and up there. Check it. Quite quiet, isn't it? I don't know if I'm hearing real sounds outside or the sounds here. If it's a bit quiet, we'll change it. Night sound. And we have an inside sound. Just a bit of creaking going on in there. That's our soundscape. This is still a little bit loud. Okay, a cacophony of sounds there. And I think that's it. Because it's all kind of a bit isolated, this map, we can do a journal note. And it relates to abandoned home. Which I can't find. to that one, and then the page is abandoned home. Yeah. Abandoned home. Maybe have a bit bigger. Icon size 120, and the font 64, because it was one of those high resolution ones. Yeah. Right. A shadow guardian, we need a shadow. Check we don't already have one. No. A tougher monster. And then we have to wonder if we're going to go for the monster core one or if there's another one. So I think the bestiary one has been updated. Well, let's look at this one. So Steel Shadow, that's the ability we like. Enfeebled 4, and if the shadow gets separated from your body, you create a shadow spawn. That's what we want. Okay, shadow, import it. And edit it with our nice, here's what I did earlier. Shadow picture. It's the standard Pathfinder 2nd edition one, thank you Pathfinder, and then we'll do tokenizer. Thank you Paizo, I should say. Key, add a frame. What colour would shadows be? Nasty, dark red. Okay, nice. Well, unless you have to fight one. Creature 4 and level 2 going on 3, so this is a single creature, relatively easy encounter. Shadow. Should we do an explanation of combat tactics? Yeah, why not? May not have any. So what will it do? It can steal shadow. Okay, so we'll probably have it combining its melee with Steel Shadow, and in slinking away it can hide or end its sneak in a creature or object shadow. So if we say that they're not in bright light, that would be possible. So I think we will have the encounter, it's going to be, if they're not spotted, the encounter will be right next to the creature. By a creature to the rear of the party, the archers and magic users. If successful by a Steel Shadow. Will spend its last action to hide in a shadow again, or not again if it didn't succeed. As it ruled that the lighting is diffuse or multifocal or from multis, so there would be no shadows. When hidden, there is a 50% mischance. Note that if a creature is lit by light or using a lit object, these have 5 shadow has 5 and not 10 resistance. Creatures brought to enfeebled 3 have their extracted from their still living body, and this shadow attacks brackets create a new shadow next to the creature and make it clumsy too, I think. Yeah, we won't have a separate one for shadow spawn. We'll keep our nice image and make it clumsy too. Okay, that's a nice description of how the shadow is going to fight. I think we need to create an area for the shadow in which to reside. So our second scene of chapter 4. Cellar. And our background is available. Our grid is 300. No padding. Why do we want padding? You never catch me padding creating a walkthrough. Abandoned home cellar. Oh, activate it. There we are. So they come in from here. Let's create a create the walls, foreground. Oh, that's gone strange. I was right, it was a JPG file instead of a WebPeg file. We need a WebP file for it to be transparent. Okay, it's updated to the right one. So if you're manipulating files and things, especially image files, and you've been changing the directory, editing them in the directory, sometimes a reload is what's needed to get the most up-to-date version. And that's what we want. Here's the basement. Oh, that's the wrong size, isn't it? For some reason I've done it in the normal resolution, so into there, right click, configure, grid, 150. That's better. Valorous come back. That's right, and then he's behind there, and he's behind the ladder, unless he wants to climb up the ladder. He's on top of the ladder. and we'll bring the shadow in at that entrance there. We've got this problem where dynamic token rings are set. In fact, we should probably reset it here on the prototype. Okay, nice. So back to our journal. Oh, we haven't done some important things with our this level, have we? We need to do the bits and pieces. Need to set it, set the lighting, and this current scene we want to disable because it's underground, and then we'll just have it dark like that, dark and shadowy, hence the shadow. Maybe very dark, even darker. You just want to make it utterly miserable for the players. Yeah, very dark. And we'll have a bit of light filtering in from the open trapdoor. Yeah. Sometimes a little light makes it more creepy than no light. Like a kind of daylight version. Yeah, I think that's fine as it is. And then the dark tunnel. But before that, set a GM vision mode because we need to do the walls. Now, we like the walls, the players to be able to see the walls, so we'll have it here. And we'll plot our walls along here. Okay. Anything else obscuring anything? Sometimes if I have lots of twisty turny passages, I put a green line there. In fact, I'll do that halfway along, so it gives a little bit more obscurement going around corners and things. It's not really very critical. through those roots, the clue that we're now outside the town. So the green, just to remind you, terrain, one layer, one line, doesn't obscure vision, but it obscures movement. So they're likely to be able to move into the wall, and two lines will obscure vision. So who can see in the dark with aid? Azran. Take off the GM vision mode. So yeah, he's having problems seeing anything. Azran, let there be light. So he has the light cantrip, which he casts upon himself. So you may see a little extra shadow there, or that you imagine that little hump in the wall obscuring a little bit of the convexities of the tunnel, and also limiting movement a little bit more because we've got the green layer too. See, you can't get left there. It's a 5-foot wide tunnel. See a little bit of obscurement behind the tree roots there. The end of the tunnel. Fine. Again, we'll get our vision on. GM vision on. Right, sounds. I might have a drippy cave sound. Cave drips in size. Dungeon moan and rats. And then just in this bit here, the house sounds. We've got house and we've got house inside. I wonder what house looks like, sounds like. Wind, we even have wind underground. House inside. I think we'll abandon that. Abandoned home, abandoned sound. Okay, have we done? Maybe we'll copy the journal. Because it's lower resolution, will make the thing smaller. 60 and 32. Back to the journal. So we've done shadow combat. Vampire tunnel and crypt. Let's make it a new thing. No, I'll keep it under G16. Maybe we'll change it. I think we'll change it to mausoleum to distinguish it from cultist crypts. Thought that would happen. The 5-foot wide and 8-foot high tunnel leads straight northward long distance. There are occasional bloodstains on the dirt floor, indicating that the PCs are still on the right track. Use the abandoned home cellar scene. Note that the is not to scale. At 160 feet is a trap, a fireball rune set by the master to hamper delvers. So let's create the trap. One thing, if you say you want to link a scene to a journal, you might select that or drag the scene in. What will happen is it'll just select the details, the configure screen. So clicking here will not change the scene on the map. You have to click it along here. Maybe something that they can change and then update version 13 perhaps. So a fireball rune. So let's see what we got here. Fireball rune, brilliant, thank you. It was in the rule books. Hazard 5. Yep, it's a standard rune. And stealth DC expert, so many people in the first level party, let alone second, third level party, will be expert in perception. An invisible rune creates an invisible spherical medical sensor with a 20-foot radius without triggering the sensor. So I think we'll just have a sensor. Edit it. The narrow tunnel. DC 22 theory expert to erase the rune without triggering it. Dispel magic 3rd rank. Counteract to counteract the rune. It's got no routine, it's a simple trap. Fireball effect. The rune detonates a fireball centered on the triggering creature's square. So normally you would cast a spell, and that would give you the nice pictures, the nice animation that we saw when we were casting the light spell on Ezran. This won't work. If we click this, it's just a description. So all we need to do is to add in the area of effect of the spell. Deals 65 damage. This detonates a blah 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 spell. And then we do, instead of check or damage, we do template, capital T, type, burst, distance, 20, right. Yep. So we'll create it about here. And let's make it smaller. This is no dynamic rings for those. Maybe I've got tokenizer setting so that it will set a dynamic ring on default. Anyway, let's make it smaller. And now, yeah, so a burst is centered on an intersection rather than the middle of a square, and the fact that we've got it smaller not only makes it a bit neater, but it clearly indicates the burst area that we set the center there. And then we will, so what will happen is the GM will bring up their, double click on the item, bring it up there. Now you need the item there because it needs to be a token to create the effect. So we'll invite, this probably doesn't matter either way, but we'll invite, first of all we set the area with a burst. Oh, we'll have a willing victim. Sealer, you can take it at level 5. So Sorry, Sealer. So if we've got an unwilling victim there, and we created a burst, it should be in chat. Fireball rune, Game Master, 20-foot burst, so there we go, it's there. And we click it, and we actually get our nice animation of what we wanted. You don't have to have the thing selected, but I believe you have to have the thing there to cast it. You see a little line coming out from the origin and then spreading, and the program, thank you to the Pathfinder 2nd Edition creators for Foundry, have done it so that it recognises that it was a fireball thing that created the hazard, maybe because there's a fire property or something, and so we get our animation, and we automatic targeting. Let's do all the damage. Roll fiery dice. Automatic targeting means Sealer as a target. Sealer, you get a saving throw. I'm just taking my time here. Save it in here. Oh dear, not a very good roll, Sealer. You got a 12. You crit failed. And so you'll take double damage. Not very nice at all. So we'll do that a little bit more neatly, I think. Right, do it again. So 20-foot burst. Got a targeting. $13, $21, and then the damage. And Sealer just failed that time, she takes the damage. If it's cast by a natural actor, the workbench, no, I think it's toolkit, shows for you who the thing is. So if you, for example, you do set target there, we've got Sealer, and it's for NPCs. You can roll them all there and do it automatically. Anyway, so she took full damage there. So that's how we run a hazard that essentially casts the spell. Back to the journal. I know another link to the hazard here. Oh, we've got it under creature, we don't want that. Too many items. Bring it here. Bring it into the party. Bring it in there. Hazard. Right, so we've done a nasty fireball trap there. And that's when the PCs were, so that's level 5, and the PCs should be just about level 3, so that's not excessively strong. But it'll just give the PCs a taste of the high level of difficulty of what they're about to face. and the tunnel ends and turns upwards. The narrow shaft has rough, easily climbed walls, DC 10. It leads into a cramped space, about 8 feet long, 3 foot wide and 3 foot high, with a stone lid. What could that cramped space be? Bits of rotten cloth and shards of bone and ash litter what remains of the floor around the shaft opening. Yes, this is the inside of a sarcophagus. A DC 10 athletics check will move aside the lid. Force open. To the cemetary scene. If the BCs enter the crypt from the tunnel, as they've done, into the mausoleum, leading up to the floor of the sarcophagus, read the following. You see over the edge of the sarcophagus a dark and cramped stone vaulted chamber. A feral humanoid creature dressed in rich and stylish but now ragged and filthy clothing, undoubtedly the same creature you have been pursuing, is hunched over a young female form, draining her blood at the neck. As the woman collapses unconscious, draped over an open sarcophagus, much like the one from which you have emerged, the creature turns to you, a gleam of unholy light in its eyes. Its dripping fangs hunger for your blood. Background. Arca, the junior member of the triumvirate of Grimbone, was periodically visited by the master, who toyed with him a while before seeing some promise in him and turning him into one of his own. Once turned, Arca burst out of his chambers through the window by night and fled to his new lodgings prepared for him by the master. That's here. Now by night he ventures back down the tunnel dug by other minions of the master and prowls the streets of his former home as a vampire spawn, terrorizing his former neighbours. The young woman is a resident of Grimbone who foolishly ventured out briefly after dark and was pounced upon by Arca. She has been drained and is unconscious and a dying one. Now we need to do the scene. it will have maybe like a staircase going up or something, a sign for that. Let's see if we can do that. Map markers, stairs up, and we'll change it the other way around. The reflect one, make it bigger. Text is too big. Icon is too small. Okay. Fact. Should do one there, shouldn't we? Okay, new scene. Cemetery. And our background . And we'll start off with the interior one as our base. Well, I think we'll know. I know. Our grid, I'm sure it's 150. There's a bigger area. No padding. Okay, 2 and grey. That's come out right. So this is where he's going to end up here in this mausoleum within the cemetery, and you see the cemetery is which we'll show again in a minute. So it goes from there up to the center one there. So we need to overlay some tiles. First of all, we will add in some walls. And I think I would have done the trees at the same time. Unusual opacity. No fade. Okay, and we'll check that this has worked. I think we need Kyra to go to the cemetery. she's underneath that little canopy over the gate, and she's also underneath these buildings. Above those. But now we need to add in roofs as a second layer. Another foreground layer. Roofs. So the roof of that building. And that one. And this one. We'll have it overhead, but we fade the entire tile. Because once they go in, we want them to be able to see. And we'll have it I think we'll have it maybe just a little bit of occlusion there. And see how that behaves. So they're outside. Step over the graves, Kyra. And when she goes in there, it brings up the interiors, yeah? But if she's 10 foot up, sorry. She is on top of the roof. She's on top of the roof there. Back down to the ground. And as soon as she gets in, we see the inside. Okay. Keep her there. What's next? Do some creating here. So let's do some walls here. It's going to be tricky. Maybe I should have done the walls first, but I'll see if I can manage. Well, okay. For now, come on, select tiles. Okay, select foreground. At last. So the tile opacity halved. Still we can see. Here we go. Outer walls. Assuming there's a bit of overlapping there. Then we'll have windows for the railings. Check that that's level. No, it's not. We're actually on the grid here. Yeah, that's worked. Now this one. And a bubble wall. And here, and we'll have a wall. Because it's a bit of perspective, even when you have no perspective. In Dungeon Alchemist there's a bit of perspective in a large map, unfortunately. So just do it like that. Okay, and then we'll have a window actually extending through to there. That one extends through, no, not you. You. And a gate. If I what we'll do is we'll create a window, make it a door. Okay, never mind. Right, a door. Door stay closed. Sound jail. Or should we have it metal? Oh, not very good for metal. Jail. And wall direction both. Sound restriction none because it's a gate. Sight none. Light none. Movement normal. That's our openable windowy door, as in other words a gate. So that's that, and we want a normal door here. Stone. We want it darker in the cemetery, in the crypt, don't we? But maybe we want it pitch dark in the crypt. So we'll have our day-night lighting, but override it. Rectangle. Override. Maximum darkness. They would have needed a light to be going down that tunnel anyway, wouldn't they? World time, yeah. Take off GM vision, yeah, she's in the darkness. In the darkness. That's what I'd like to see. She's outside and she's in the light now. Okay. There's something else we needed to do. So we had our sarcophagus opening up, didn't we, from inside? So we can do that. We'll create a... Oh, we need sounds first. Some ambient sounds. And whenever it's constrained by walls, we don't want the sounds in that crypt. And we want to make these gates different. Sound restriction none. That one. That one. That one. That one. And now it's just buildings that are obscuring it. We've got pretty good. Oh, why is that not worked? That's gone away completely. Oh, that one didn't change either. It's nice that we can see the slightly different colours. Movement restriction normal. Okay, now when we do the sounds. Pretty much everywhere is covered. times. That's our area done. I think what we'll do is we'll do the macro and then we'll do that encounter next time. So let's just finish off with the macro. Right, get onto there and then do tiles. We want to create a tile in the background layer. And it's just this here. So we're overlaying an open sarcophagus onto the closed one. And we want a nice match. Make it a bit easier for us there. Doesn't seem to be quite a match there, does it? Let's move it around a bit. No, we don't want to create a light. Tiles. Okay. So when that's visible, the thing is open. So we'll set it to invisible first. With the GM it never looks as good because you still see a shadow of it, but the players will see nothing there. They'll just see that closed sarcophagus. So let's do the thing now. The macro. So we'll have it a bit like a trap door. Sarcophagus lid. And we need the tile UUID. Got it there. Paste it in there, so scene and tile. And I think it's a stone grind. Let me just check. Stone grind. And we'll have the same sound again. In fact, you can take this out of the if-else statement, didn't we? How about that? Okay, let's try it. As you become a bit more visible, to open it up and close it up again. So I think with that macro we'll finish there, and we'll be doing the encounter with Arca and possibly his latest victim next time. Thanks very much, and speak to you next time. Bye.